3、2、1、発射。
Japan's new lethal weapon has what it takes to destroy China in seconds. This country, one of the United States allies, has made incredible improvements in its military sector over the years, bolstering its defense system and investing millions into the creation of weapons and arming itself like never before. Despite the restrictions in the possession and development of some military arsenal, this country's military sector is undoubtedly advanced. Recently, Japan revealed its new secret weapon that was developed with a mind-blowing cost of $87 million. The destructive capabilities of this weapon have struck fear in the hearts of nations around the world. What are the capabilities of this new secret weapon? What is Japan's military sector like? Join us as we delve into the capabilities of Japan's new $87 million secret weapon that nations around the world are scared of. The rivalry between China and Japan, which can be dated back to the late 19th century, is still very much burning. These two countries have always competed for everything, influence and resources in the region, and have also clashed over territorial disputes, historical grievances, and military ambitions. While China has become technologically advanced over the years with a strong arsenal of conventional and nuclear weapons, Japan has also been putting a lot of effort into maintaining its security and status, and even becoming better than its rivals. Japan just shocked the world with an announcement. This country has successfully tested a very powerful weapon, and this development is very unique because the weapon is the first of its kind. Japan's new secret weapon has not only struck fear in the hearts of nations across the globe, it has also caught China's attention. Recent news has reported that Japan has made a significant advancement in its defense technology. The country just tested a medium-caliber electromagnetic railgun on an offshore platform to strengthen its security against growing regional threats like China's hypersonic missiles. This test was conducted by the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force in collaboration with the Acquisition Technology and Logistics Agency, part of the Japanese Ministry of Defense. However, specific details and timing of the test are not fully disclosed. According to ATLA, this is the first time any country in the world has successfully tested a railgun in this manner, as these weapons are typically mounted on ships. A report by Shepherd Media has stated that the ATLA railgun developed by Japan currently uses about 5 megajoules, which is about 5 million joules of energy, allowing it to fire projectiles at speeds of around Mach 6.5, or approximately 2,230 meters per second. The future goal is to increase the railgun's power to 20 megajoules. ATLA made this announcement on Platform X that they have successfully tested their medium-caliber maritime electromagnetic railgun. In addition to the announcement, they also shared some really impressive videos showing the railgun firing projectiles from various angles. The development of this railgun started in early 2022 when the Japanese Ministry of Defense decided to develop an electromagnetic weapon system to counter hostile hypersonic missiles, an advanced threat. ATLA also mentioned that they have been working on electromagnetic railguns since 2016 and have focused on increasing launch velocity and developing durable materials for the rails that can handle high currents. But before we delve into the details of this weapon, let's understand the basis. A railgun is a device that makes use of electromagnetic force to launch projectiles at high speeds. It works by creating a strong magnetic field between two parallel metal rails, which accelerates a sliding armature carrying the projectile. The armature completes an electric circuit, and the current generates a magnetic force that pushes the armature and projectile along the rails, launching the projectile at very high speeds. Electromagnetic railguns offer several advantages over traditional guns, such as higher speed, longer range, lower cost, and reduced explosive risk. However, they also face challenges like high power requirements, large size, rail erosion, and thermal stress. Aside from using it on ships, ATLA plans to put these railguns on several land-based trucks to counter hypersonic missiles, showing Japan's proactive defense measures. Japan had previously aimed to enhance its ballistic missile defense with the Aegis Ashore land-based system, in addition to its Aegis destroyers in the Patriot Advanced Capability 3 system. However, in 2020, the government decided to drop the Aegis Ashore plan and now focuses on integrating railgun interceptors into the existing missile defense system. The medium-sized electromagnetic railgun prototype by ATLA can fire 40mm steel projectiles that weigh up to 320 grams. As mentioned earlier, railguns make use of electromagnets instead of chemical propellants to fire projectiles at very high speeds, even reaching hypersonic velocities. It is still uncertain which Japanese ships might eventually use railguns, but the possibility of mounting them on JMSDF destroyers has been suggested. For instance, in 2015, Japan Marine United proposed that the new 27D or 27DDG destroyers could be equipped with railguns due to their advanced power systems. These railguns might also be used on Japan's future multi-purpose missile defense vessels. Japan has invested significantly in ballistic missile defense ships to counter a variety of air and sea threats. Railguns could be ideal for targeting aerial threats like hypersonic cruise and ballistic missiles. ATLA also plans to mount railguns on trucks to target hypersonic missiles on land. Its mid-caliber size limits it to point defensive ships and valuable land targets. Larger railgun concepts, like the now-defunct US Navy version, require more complex systems and power but offer greater capabilities. Japan's smaller railgun still faces challenges to become operational. ATLA initially started railgun development in 1990 with a smaller 16mm version, and by 2016, they began working on a railgun for anti-air and anti-ship roles. A proof of concept was shown in 2018, and in May 2022, ATLA contracted Japan Steel Works for a $49.7 million prototype, which was finally unveiled in May 2023. This country continues to pursue railgun technology despite the US ending its program. Japan's efforts may attract United States contractors, offering the US a way back into railgun development. China and Turkey are also working on railguns, with China developing a large-caliber railgun that can fire a heavy projectile at high speed. Japan's path to a functional maritime railgun faces many challenges, including dealing with corrosive saltwater in extreme environmental conditions. However, the recent tests are a significant step forward, and it is still a major achievement. Let's also explore some of the country's military arsenals, their capabilities and investments. The Japanese self-defense forces are investing in advanced military technology, including the purchase of up to 147 F-35 fighter jets, the development of the country's first aircraft carrier since World War II, and the creation of a sixth-generation fighter jet. Let's get into it. Japan recently purchased the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, which is an American stealth fighter jet that is designed for various missions, including air combat and ground attacks. This jet also has capabilities for electronic warfare and intelligence gathering. Lockheed Martin is the main contractor, with Northrop Grumman and BAE Systems as key partners. There are three versions: the F-35A for conventional takeoff and landing, the F-35B for short takeoff and vertical landing, and the F-35C for aircraft carrier operations. This fighter jet is based on the Lockheed Martin X-35, which won the Joint Strike Fighter competition in 2001, beating the Boeing X-32. The development is primarily funded by the United States, with contributions from NATO countries and other close allies like the UK, Australia, Canada, Italy, Norway, Denmark, and the Netherlands. Many other countries have also ordered or are considering ordering the F-35. The F-35 advanced sensors and avionics create a comprehensive battlefield picture, and its stealth is achieved through careful design and materials. While not as fast as the twin-engine F-22, it is competitive with older fighters and designed for future upgrades. This fighter also makes a perfect addition to the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force. But the F-35 is not the only addition to Japan's self-defense force. There is also the Mitsubishi F-2. This air fighter is a multi-role fighter jet based on the F-16 Fighting Falcon, created by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and Lockheed Martin for Japan's Air Self-Defense Force. Japan handles 60% of the manufacturing, and the US handles 40%. It is derived from the F-16 Agile Falcon, a low-cost design that was not selected in the advanced tactical fighter competition. Production began in 1996, and the first F-2 entered service in 2000. By 2008, 76 F-2s were in service, with a total of 98 built. It was the first combat aircraft to feature an active electronically scanned array radar, the J/APG-1, introduced in 1995. This airfighter is nicknamed Viper Zero, which combines the F-16's nickname Viper with the Mitsubishi A6M0. 7 defense companies, General Electric, Kawasaki, Honeywell, Raytheon, NEC, Hazeltine, and Kokusai Electric were key suppliers for the F-2 fighter. Lockheed Martin provided the back part of the fuselage, leading-edge slats, stores management system, and a large portion of the wing boxes, while Kawasaki built the midsection of the fuselage, main wheel doors, and the engine doors. Mitsubishi was placed in charge of the front, fuselage, and wings. Lockheed Martin also supplied some avionics, and the digital fly-by-wire system was co-developed by Japan Aviation Electric and Honeywell. Raytheon, NEC, Hazeltine, and Kokusai Electric handled communication systems and IFF interrogators. Japan developed the Fire Control Radar, IRS, Mission Computer, and EW system. They also developed and integrated the Flight Control Computer, Flight Control Laws, and related software. Final assembly was done by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries in Nagoya. The F-2's larger wings enhance payload and maneuverability, but can add weight. To mitigate this, the wings were made from a lightweight graphite epoxy composite, a first for a production fighter. This technology, despite some initial issues, was effective and transferred back to the US as part of the industrial partnership. It features 3 display screens, including a liquid crystal display from Yokogawa. Compared to the F-16, the F-2 has a 25% larger wing area, uses composite materials to reduce weight and radar signature, and has a longer and wider nose to accommodate the J/APG-1/J/APG-2 AESA radar. This made it one of the first operational aircraft with this radar. It also has a larger tailplane, a larger air intake, and a 3-piece cockpit canopy. The airfighter also features different avionics equipment and software, a unique flight control system, and can carry 4 ASM-1 or ASM-2 anti-ship missiles, 4 AAMs, and extra fuel tanks. It is also equipped with a drogue parachute, similar to some versions of the F-16 used by other countries. It's important to note that Mitsubishi modified more than 95% of the F-16's engineering drawings for the F-2. Now to a fighter jet that serves as Japan's frontline defense against foreign military forces, undergoing continuous upgrades to maintain its effectiveness despite its aging design. The F-15J. The Mitsubishi F-15J/DJ Eagle is a 2-engine fighter plane used by Japan's Air Self-Defense Force. It's based on the American F-15 Eagle. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries made the F-15J under license. They also made later versions like the F-15DJ and F-15J Kai. This country has the most F-15 Eagles outside the United States. Besides combat, the airfighter can also be used for training. Also, later versions like the F-15J Kai is an updated version of the F-15J. Note that the F-15J/DJ planes are very similar to the F-15C/Ds, except for a few things like their electronic countermeasures, radar warning system, and nuclear gear. They have their own systems made in Japan to replace some American ones. Their engines are made by Pratt & Whitney, but under license by HII Corporation. Some planes still use older navigation systems. All F-15J and DJs have 2 radios that can work on different frequencies. The F-15J has a special data link made in Japan, but it's not as advanced as the one used by the US Air Force's F-15Cs. It's a basic link that connects with Japan's intercept network, but it's not as good because it's not a full network. Mitsubishi started upgrading the F-15J/DJs in 1987 with a program called the F-15CD Multi-Stage Improvement Program, also known as MSIP. As a part of the upgrade, they improved the central computer, engines, and some other parts. They also added new countermeasures. The engines were upgraded with digital controls. The appearance of these upgraded planes is a bit different, with some new antennas and changes to the radar warning system. Unlike before, F-15Js now makes use of a Japanese missile called AAM-3, which has unique fins. While Japan looks into making a new fighter to replace the F-15, they are also updating the current F-15J fleet. The first updated F-15J flew in 2003 and was delivered later that year. In 2004, Japan decided to modernize the F-15J over 5 years. This includes getting new engines, a better computer, and a stronger radar. They're also planning to use a new missile called AAM-4. 3 years after, Japan also planned to upgrade some F-15Js with new radar pods for reconnaissance missions. But later this plan was dropped. Instead, they focused on improving the F-15J and another plane called the Mitsubishi F-2. However, there was a major development. In 2019, the United States agreed to sell Japan new radar systems, computers, and electronic warfare gear to upgrade 98 F-15Js to a Japanese Super Interceptor configuration. This allows the F-15J to carry big air-to-surface weapons, making it good for attacking ground targets and ships. The upgrade program was set to start in 2022. Now to Japan's Izumo-class multi-purpose vessel. The JS Izumo, which was originally a helicopter carrier, is now being changed into a light aircraft carrier as of 2022. It's officially called a multi-purpose operation destroyer and is the first ship in its class for the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. In May 2018, the Liberal Democratic Party decided they wanted to convert the Izumo to carry fixed-wing aircraft. This plan was confirmed in December that same year when Japan announced its new defense guidelines. Once the conversion is done, Izumo will be the first Japanese naval ship to carry fixed-wing aircraft since World War II. The Izumo was the biggest Japanese naval vessel since World War II, and they began the building process on January 27 and 23 and were launched on August 6 in 2013. It started sea trials on September 29, 2014, and was put into service on March 25, 2015. The budget for this ship was about 113.9 billion yen, which was around $1.5 billion in the fiscal 2010 budget. Originally, these destroyers were meant to replace 2 ships from the Shirane class, which were supposed to be decommissioned starting in 2014. Although it's as big as a Japanese carrier from World War II, it's called a destroyer because Japan's constitution doesn't allow the country to have offensive weapons. However, the ship allows Japan to show its military strength far beyond its own waters. The ship can hold up to 28 aircrafts, or 14 bigger ones. At first, it's planned to have 7 ASW helicopters and 2 SAR helicopters. It can also carry 400 troops and 53.5-ton trucks or similar equipment for other jobs. On the deck, there are 5 spots for helicopters to land and take off at the same time. In 2010, it was mentioned that some parts of the ship's design could support planes with fixed wings, like the Bell-Boeing Vive-22 Osprey and Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. But there's no talk from the Ministry of Defense or the JMSDF about bringing in planes like these. The ship doesn't have a ski jump or a catapult, which are usual for launching planes with fixed wings. If they were to use fixed-wing planes, they'd have to be the Stovall type. Japan has bought the regular Lightning II, but might also get the Stovall version, the F-35B, to use on a changed Izumo-class ship. In 2018, the Japanese government said they'd change their defense plans and get 42 F-35B fighters to use them on both Izumo and another ship, Kaga. For defense, the ship has 2 Phalanx CIWs and 2 CRAM systems. Launched at Yokosuka Port in Japan in March 2015, Izumo started working just in time for a big disaster drill in August 2015 in Tokyo. During the drill, it teamed up with the Japan Coast Guard's large patrol vessel Izu to help with the injured. In May 2017, Izumo went to escort USNS Richard E. Byrd, an American supply ship near Shikoku. Richard E. Byrd was there to refuel another U.S. warship dealing with North Korean missiles. This was the first time a Japanese ship was sent to escort an American one since security laws changed in March 2016. Some people protested in Yokosuka, thinking having an aircraft carrier like Izumo was going against Japan's defense-only policy. The destroyer Sazanami also joined in on the mission. In 2020, Izumo started getting changed to carry F-35B fighter planes. They're doing this in two steps. First, they're strengthening the deck and adding power supply stuff for the planes to land and take off. Later on, they'll change the front of the ship to make it safer for the planes, starting from the end of 2024. They are not planning to add a catapult or a sloping runway. A year after its change to carry the F-35B fighters, Izumo worked with the British aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth and other ships in the Pacific for exercises. In early October of the same year, U.S. Marine Corps F-35B fighters used the Izumo for the first time. This Izumo, along with the Takanami-class destroyer JS Takanami and the Murasame-class destroyer JS Kirasame, were a part of the RIMPAC in 2022. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.